Awesome. Thank you, Kayla. And if you can confirm you can hear me also, that would be great. Awesome. Thank you, David. Well, welcome everyone to TCI Foundations Navigating, Teaching, and Planning with TCI. We're going to get started in 3 minutes max. Give people time to transition from that welcome session into this one, and then we'll be ready to get started. But while you wait, if you will hop in chat. Kayla, 1,000 points for following directions already. Kayla is from New Jersey, teaches 4th grade. Awesome. Welcome, Kayla. Now I need to know, from where in New Jersey are you? Because I've been working in New Jersey with districts in science for a very long time, despite the accent that I don't have. I fold my pizza. I love a good cannoli, so no judgment here. So what district are you from, Kayla? I'm curious now if it's one that I've worked with. Berlin Community School. Okay, I don't think I have, but pleasure to have you with us. I've been working from top to bottom and east to west in New Jersey for very many years. What about the rest of you? Where are you joining from, and what grade do you teach? Looking at names, it seems like usually I'll have at least a handful of people that I have actually worked with their district, which is always pretty special for me. Brecksville, Ohio, grade 5, welcome. So I do also work in Ohio a lot. I don't believe I've worked in Brecksville though, so I appreciate you joining us. Christy Taylor, Clementon Elementary, also in New Jersey, awesome. New Jersey was actually one of our earliest and biggest Bring Science Alive supporters and continues to be, so thrilled to have you well represented in this session also. Okay, we'll give it about 1 more minute. Fort Lauderdale, 1 through 5th Science Lab. Wow, Jennifer, bless you for how many preps you're doing. That is a lot. I'm so glad you joined us today. That's amazing. Woodridge, New Jersey, also. New Jersey is really in the house today. Brecksville, the best. Oh, LeBron James, the CLE forever. I love it. That's amazing. I love it. Thank you all for participating. That just makes it fun. Oh, I just saw a Louisville, Kentucky. So Angela, your name is familiar, and just I apologize if we've interacted and I'm drawing a blank at this precise moment, but I'm actually in Kentucky also, down in Murray, and I work with a lot of schools and districts in Louisville. I see you, Michelle, Jersey City. I've worked in Jersey City a long time too. Alaska in the house, awesome. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. It looks like we've got most, if not everyone, here with us, but continue to pop those things into the chat. I'm seeing all your different responses there, where you're from. It looks like we're well represented from coast to coast, so that's super cool. So let me tell you a little bit more about myself and my co-host who's on with me. So first of all, my name is Dawn. I'm a senior national account manager for TCI, but more importantly, I am a former classroom teacher for TCI. I work with K-8 science as well as K-12 social studies. So perhaps I'm familiar to some of you. If not, hopefully I'll have an opportunity to work with you in the future. My promise to you today is if I don't know the answer, I'll find it for you. So we're going to have the Q&A up and running while we're in here today, and also the chat. Haley, one of our customer support representatives, is co-hosting with me. She's going to be my right hand today and really monitoring the Q&A. I'm working on approximately 7 monitors, slight exaggeration, but she's going to let me know if I miss anything pressing. I'll try to answer things live as much as possible today, but let's do a bit of housekeeping similar to what they covered in that welcome session. Q&A is going to be to respond to a direct question that I pose or I share your questions. The chat is if I'm just saying, hey, just something more casual like it was before, or just commenting, giving some feedback. But if you have a specific question about the program or something specific to your district that we can answer later, definitely use the Q&A for that. Lastly, in chat, as it says, it's more fun to share. Looks like you all are the advanced class today. Congrats on that, no pressure. But please continue to, as you're typing in chat, that little blue bar you'll see hopefully says everyone, like Haley just said hi to everyone. Please make sure that your message goes to everyone, because you may have something that someone else finds interesting or entertaining. So we want to make sure everyone has a chance to see that. All right, awesome. So, a little bit about what we'll be covering in this quick power session today. We're going to talk about basic navigation of the TCI Science platform. That, of course, includes the slideshow delivery format. I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaser about things that are coming down the pipe this summer and moving into the fall that you may or may not have heard of already. Talk about resources and our in-app professional development experience, because I find there are hidden gems that I'm in every day, but a lot of people, as teachers, we go in and we are in our routine, and sometimes we miss out on things that are added later. So I'm going to hopefully share some new things with you, even if you are a Bring Science Alive veteran. Hopefully your questions answered, most if not all. I am actually going to, so Haley doesn't have to do it, I'm going to in chat give you, even though I'm not personally working with all of your districts right now, I do want you to have my email address, dscags at teachtci.com. I just dropped that in chat. Please grab it, because even if I'm not working with your district, we're a small group for science. That typically is the case in the virtual summit. Makes it a little more intimate and a little more casual for us, which is nice. So if you have a question that does not get answered during our time together live, please reach out to me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find who does. If your district is already working with a specific account manager or customer consultant, I'm going to copy you and relay that message to them. And then definitely, if it's something that I mentioned and you're like, oh, I know who my account manager is, it's not Dawn, but they're not going to know exactly what Dawn was referencing, that would obviously be a reason to reach out to me directly also. And then finally, maybe just some tips along the way. Now, I did not see all of you chiming in that welcome session, but I bet not every one of you is brand new to Bring Science Alive. So I want to ask and empower you too, that as I'm sharing things, those of you that are experienced Bring Science Alive users, please feel free to hop into the chat and share any of your best practices that you think might be helpful to some of the folks that are newer to the program that are joining us today. So, for those that are new, here's a quick glance at what our elementary science programs are. So, it's a flexible science curriculum now, as flexible as it can be with NGSS, right? So, we're not retrofitted. We actually created our science programs from the ground up to be fully aligned with the next generation science standards. So, here they are in order from kindergarten to fifth grade. Those are the beautiful program titles. And you, with an elementary science lesson, even if you are a fourth grade teacher, I remember someone said they teach fourth grade science, you technically, as far as TCI is concerned, are able to add all of the grade level programs to your license. And I find that some people are not aware of that. So the caveat is your district rostering, meaning that they are in control of what specific program you get rostered to? And if that's your situation, then you would just need to let them know, yep, I teach fourth grade, but I really just have a curiosity or need to refer back to something at some point before a review at the end of the school year. I too would like access to grade 1 or whatever it is. There's no additional charge for that. That would be for you and your students. So make sure you noted that. If you can give me a shout out in the chat, let me know if that's something you were aware of already or not. So again, what that means is you have an elementary science license with which you technically can access any of the programs from our elementary science suite of programs, as can your students digitally. So looking in chat, awesome. Yes. Okay, great. So I'm feeling good about the fact that I shared something that at least a couple of you are not aware of. Absolutely, Ryan, great for differentiation. So I think that's important. And so when I say sharing some tips along the way, that's one of them. We have so many hidden program gems that don't jump off the page at you. So hopefully I'll be able to share a few more of those as we go along. So TCI and NGSS, as I said, this is our promise to you, really, that as I already mentioned, we started from the ground up NGSS. This is not retrofitted. You're going to have that lesson and unit phenomena for every one of the programs, followed by your 3D investigations. This is where you're going to dive into your DCIs and your SEPs and your CCCs, and you're the content expert. So today is going to be more about how this platform helps you do all this in a user-friendly manner for you and your students to hopefully make your life easier and maximize your instructional time that you have for science. And then you're going to make sense of that phenomena, come back, and it's all going to kind of tie back in to the observing phenomena. And then finally, depending on your grade level, our amazing assessment options, some of which I'll be touching on today, with the understanding that lower L maybe does things a little bit differently than upper L. I know we at least had a few of you on here that are covering lower L and upper L. So as I mentioned before, if you have some feedback or thoughts, suggestions that you want to offer your partners in crime that are on the session today, please feel free to do that at any time. All right, awesome. Advanced class. So yeah, let's go ahead and go live and talk about the platform a little bit. And then definitely, if you have any questions, I want you to interrupt me at any time. Let me go full screen here. So you're not looking at all the other stuff. So I am logged in to Bring Science Alive Grade 2. It would not matter if I were in kindergarten or fifth grade. The platform is going to be the same. That's one of the great things about what we have to offer at TCI. Now, one of the tips I want to share with you, especially if you're a new user, I always tell everyone I work with, start at the top of your page, no matter where you are in navigating our platform, and scroll to the bottom is tip one, because depending on your device's display, if you don't do that, you might miss out on some things. So, for example, if I look at my purple left navigation bar, you'll see that it's organized by program, unit, lesson, reference, but there's more room to scroll down. So I've got my display a little bit zoomed in for you, but most of the time teachers, it's cut off about right here. So if they didn't scroll down, they would miss things like the pacing guide, the correlations, the Spanish-English toggle, for example. So that's tip one, is start at the top and scroll to the bottom. The other tip, and I'm going to reference this more than once in our time together, I'm sure, is when in doubt, hover. So if you look at the top right hand of your screen, if I hover on a symbol that I don't know what it is going to do if I click on it, it's going to tell you. For example, this gift box, what's new, or this question mark, support. And I'll be talking more about this question mark and the difference in that support and this support over here momentarily. So just some of the basics now to start. Now, I'm logged in as a teacher, but just as we're looking at this initial view of the home page, one other thing I want to point out that I'm finding some teachers are not aware of. We believe in positive redundancy at TCI. And what I mean by that is we don't want you wasting your precious instructional time on a wild scavenger hunt in the platform trying to find out where and how to do what it is you want to do. So there will be 2, 3, sometimes maybe 4 or 5 different places where you can get to the same thing. Case in point, look at this symbol right here. And as I hover, it says view as a student. So anytime you're navigating and you see this key symbol, if you click on it, it will show you your roster, any students that are enrolled in the class that you're in, and you can then log in as those students. And I'll touch on that a little bit more later, but this is the first place you can see those keys. You'll also see those keys under My Classes and under Grades as well. Then below that, you'll see 3, 4, 5 units of study for science, depending on if you're in a lower elementary or an upper elementary program. For purposes of our demonstration today, let's just dive into Unit 2, materials and their uses. I happen to really like this one a lot. So now we're at the unit level. So you see a lot of information, and one of the key things that I want to point out is a difference between teacher view and student view. Anytime you see something that is boxed off in orange, like the planning box, we also say it right here, but orange is kind of your at a quick glance code that's not going to be visible for students. So if you're logged in and viewing the planning box and a student's logged in, they're not seeing the planning box. If you share a slide deck with students, you see answer key boxes, they're not going to see the answer key, for example. So I want to make sure and point that out. But as you open up a unit, you're going to see your performance expectations listed here. It's not going to be, oh, I don't know what I'm covering. Your SEPs, your CCs, your DCIs, all of that's going to be all over the template for you. So both in print and digitally in the Bring Science Alive programs, it's always going to be very transparent what you are covering. Below that, you have your storyline. Do you like playing outside? If you go out when it's cold, you might see a frozen pond or frost on leaves. If it's raining, you might bring an umbrella to keep you dry. Let's find out how different weather can affect materials. And then you have your anchoring phenomenon. Sometimes ponds are filled with water, other times they are icy. Now notice there's a video to the right. You'll have this for every single unit. And this is something that we encourage you to show to the students to kick off the unit. So let's take a look at this example, and then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about planning.
Hi, I'm Samaya. I love playing outside, but sometimes it rains. My mom tells me to bring an umbrella and wear rain boots. I wonder, what are umbrellas and rain boots made of? How do they keep me dry? When it gets cold enough, it starts snowing. The pond even freezes over. But when it gets warm, the ice becomes water again. What materials change when they get cold? Let's find out. You'll use what you learned to see how cold weather affects materials. Then you'll examine materials to build an umbrella.
So I'm curious, tell me in chat, do any of you teach both science and social studies with TCI? Do we have any dual subject TCI folks in this group? Awesome. So perfect. There's two right out of the gate. So if you started using us for social studies first, oh, Angela, that's my wish for you as well. Laura, thank you. If you used us for social studies first and you're new to science, then you know one of the things we do in social studies is that preview activity, something to tap into prior knowledge, generate interest in the content you're going to share. This video really serves that purpose well for science. So if you think about your students watching that for the first time, now they have an idea of what they're going to be learning about and hopefully more of an interest in it as well. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, thank you everybody for sharing those responses. That's super helpful for me to know more about you as my audience as well. Now, below that, you have your planning box. Now, a reminder that we are in the unit level planning right now. So I just opened that up further so that we could see more information. Again, not visible to students. So the first thing you will see is unit highlights. Now, some teachers, and there's no right or wrong, in social study or science or social studies, any content area, if you gave your students a multiple intelligence quiz, they're all over the map, right? And that's why we have our various strategies for the TCI approach, even in social studies, right? Well, if I gave a multiple intelligence test to all of you, you would be all over the map just as your students are. And that's why we have multiple formats in which you can familiarize yourself with the lesson and its investigations before you teach. So if you're more the type of learner that wants to read through information, then you have things like unit highlights and your procedural information at the unit and lesson level, whereas other teachers who are more visual or experiential will click through the slide deck to familiarize themselves. There's no right or wrong, just reminding you that you have options for planning, just as you have options for teaching and assessing. So this is just a highlight. So knowing that some of you have 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week for science, congratulations. And others of you, and I won't call any of you out, but I know from experience, there are some of you likely on this group that have science 5 or 10 minutes twice a week if you're lucky for a semester. And I've worked with those districts, and you're just trying to get by and cover what you can. So I am curious in the chat, would you share, if you're not afraid to, no judgment, you don't control it, how many minutes you have daily for science instruction at the elementary level? And if that's not 5 days a week and it's not full year, share that as well. Be curious for us all to see people's responses. So 45 minutes each subject 5 times a week, 20 minutes 4 days a week from Stacy, super. 60 minutes 5 days a week for half the year, 30 minutes 2 times a week. So yeah, it's all over the map. Laura has 60 minutes once a week. So again, yeah, keep those coming. I don't see anyone that has like the 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm very thankful and excuse me, happy for all of you that it looks like you have more time. I do see you, Nicole, 12 to 20 minutes 3 times a week. The point in my asking that is whether you have 5 minutes for science or you have 60 minutes for science, the program is flexible so that you can maximize your time and meet those NGSS needs and standards, right? So that's one of the things that we touch on in unit highlights. So if you're short on time, here are some things that you can focus on to make sure you're preparing them for the performance assessment. And then our curriculum authors have gone through and said, okay, we know most people can't do everything. What are the things we feel like are the things they shouldn't miss? So in this unit, if you can do nothing else, see if you can incorporate these items. So those are some of the tips and tricks that you will find at the unit level in the planning box. Next over from that, you see the 3D learning progressions. So for each of the lesson, it's going to tell you how it introduces the phenomenon to build understanding of the performance expectation, support the anchoring phenomenon, and the 3D learning. And then beyond that, you have the explaining the anchoring phenomenon. You've got a blurb for each lesson. What will students be doing? Oh, in lesson 1, they're going to explore observable properties of matter. In lesson 2, they're going to analyze how liquid takes the shape of a container. And in lesson 3, they're going to discover how materials are used for different purposes. That's the one we're going to dive into today. And then finally, my actual favorite tab that you can open in the planning box at the unit level is unit progression. And those of you that have been using the program already, or even if you just reviewed it and you're implementing it for the first time, love for you to let me know in chat if this is something that you already knew about and used, or if you're seeing it for the first time, because I love it. And that's the unit progression document. So you've got this blurb here, but then you have a complete unit progression document that you can print out. And I love that this is color coded. So I've got my unit phenomenon, storyline, progression, my PEs. There's my DCIs, CCCs, SEPs, the connection to the unit phenomenon, all in one document. So advanced class, let me know if any of you knew of that already. Lie to me even if you didn't. Hopefully some of you already knew about that. Okay, awesome. So Laura, good. So you have that at your fingertips for every single unit. And I think especially if you're new to the program or you're collaborating with someone, that's something that you can print out or share with them digitally. Remember what I said about starting at the top of the screen and scrolling to the bottom, because if you didn't, and this is all you saw, you might think, oh, okay, now I've got my unit projects and then I've got these libraries. But no, no, no. Scroll below that and now you have the lessons that make up the unit that you are in. So let's talk lesson planning now. And I mentioned lesson 3, how are materials used for different purposes? So let's go ahead and dive into that one. And you're going to right out of the gate see that the view is very similar to what it was at the unit level. I can open a lesson by clicking on the title or clicking on the box that says explore lesson. It's going to take me to the exact same place, which is here. Notice there's a planning box again. Also notice lesson correlations right up here. That's going to link you to all of the NGSS correlations. So again, lots of hidden gems all over the page. Just kind of click around and hover and scroll to the bottom, as I said. Now, what's the difference in planning at the lesson level compared to the unit level? Well, it's lesson level information now. So here's the lesson phenomena. Bridges can be made from many different materials. How does this connect to the unit phenomena? Students are going to understand a bridge crossing a dry canyon may need to be built from different materials than one crossing a body of water because ice on a bridge could cause issues. Here are three-dimensional lesson objectives. I'm getting information about flexible lesson options because some of you have 15 minutes and some of you have 55 minutes, and then assessment options below that. More on that kind of planning timestamp information momentarily. Let's continue on with the planning box first. Materials. Remember what I said about positive redundancy. So you have a materials list at the lesson level here. You also have materials over here. Now glance at my screen for a moment. Advanced class, I'm going to ask you in the chat in a moment. Let me know what's different, same lesson, from the materials view I'm in right now compared to the materials view I am in now. With the power of Spectrum Internet, what changed? Same lesson. The materials should be the same, right? What is the difference in those two materials lists? Because I think it's very important, and I don't want to give the answer away, even though you all already know the answer, I'm sure. They're feverishly typing. Yeah, the visuals. And what about the visuals? Yes, not just the visual supports like the source. Hover, remember what I said about hovering? If you're fortunate enough to have our beautifully organized lab material kits and consumable refill kits, then this is going to tell you exactly what bin to go to, exactly what bag to grab. Oh, box one, bin one, common materials bag. It also tells you if it's one per group, one per class, two boxes per class. Kayla's saying the second list has more information, tells you where to find how many for each group. Exactly right. So they have the same materials, obviously, I'm in the same lesson. So it's just a matter of what type of information is important to you. Now, never look at a lesson or investigation and say, oh, I'm not teaching that one. There's way too much to print out. Nope, nope, nope. We just give you, safety information. Safety first, Angela. Nice you picked up on that. Never is it going to be, oh, I have to print all this out to teach this investigation. No, we give you the rights and the ability to print out anything that's within the program. If you are in a newer version of the program, meaning you adopted in the last few years to where we moved from that hardcover reference text to that full color, beautiful consumable science journal, which hopefully is what all of you have, then okay, maybe Dawn was bad and left her journal home today, and you're really wanting them to do the paper, pencil, more traditional experience for today's investigation because you're using, you're in the lab around water and you don't want the laptop, whatever it is. You have the science journal in a PDF form here, both in English and Spanish. So again, it's not, oh my gosh, I've got to print all this to be able to teach it. It's, oh, if I need to print this, I have the ability to. Procedural information, this has more details. This is also going to give you information like, oh, if we suggest exactly when to read, if that's important to the investigation, that information is going to be here also. So this is more detailed procedural information than what you had in the overview. Learning progression. I love this because if you're curious, oh, I know I'm covering XYZ, but I wonder what my students are coming to me with. Oh, in second grade, they learned about this, which relates to the content I'm covering now. And then where are they going to take this knowledge beyond third grade? Oh, here's what they're going to do with it in fifth grade. Is there a demo lesson option? So Paul, let me give you a yes, no, yes. Each of the lessons will have a video, and this is where you have flexible usage even of the videos. Sometimes it will be showing you as the teacher how to set up things. Sometimes there will be clips of that embedded into the presentation to show the students exactly how to do things. Even the ones that were originally generated more for just the teacher's familiarity, more and more teachers said, oh, well, I show that to the students too, and I just pause it when it's something that, I'm not ready to move on to the next portion. So short answer to your question is yes. Beyond that, you have differentiating instruction. So for every lesson, let me move my own self out of my way. You have simple adaptations and suggestions for ESL, ELL learners, learners with special education needs, advanced or gifted learners. And then enhancing learning, think of this as we've done the homework for you. So never will a lesson say, now use pbslearningmedia.org or kidsbritannica.com, but it might say, or maybe you would say, I didn't know that this portion of their website pairs perfectly with what I'm covering in this lesson. So we have pulled these things for you. We are really great about staying on top of these. I can count on literally less than one hand in my tenure at TCI, how many times someone had said, oh my gosh, that link didn't work. If you ever find that is the case, notify us. We'll pull it. We'll replace it with something just as good, if not better. So don't ever just sit on that if you notice something. And then finally, science background. Here's where you got information. If you're new to this content, what are the concepts? What's the purpose of this investigation? What kind of vocabulary? What are they going to learn about in the student text as it correlates and corresponds to this particular lesson and unit? Let's see. Haley, any questions that I have missed so far I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A, but want to make sure I haven't missed anything.
No, everything looks good.
Awesome. All right. Perfect. So moving on then, below the planning box, you have flexible lesson options. You heard me say flexible, flexible. Now, if you are thinking to yourself, I know I have to cover this lesson and its content, but I don't have time to do the full slideshow with the investigation. We just need to hit the highlights and we'll dive deeper in another lesson that's more important. Reading slide deck. Cover the big ideas, engaging reading, thought provoking note taking. It's not do this, then do this, then do this. Flexible lesson options. Teach with one of these flexible lesson options. Our hope is that more often than not, you'll be doing the investigation slideshow. That's what's going to help you cover the investigation, that hands on experience using the lab materials, hands on, minds on with your students. And then this video activity, Super Simple Science, can be used instead of either of these if you're needing something more interactive that's quick, but can also be used in addition to either of these. Some teachers tell me, oh, I use Super Simple Science more at the end of a unit for just another review of some of the content we learned in lessons along the way. Now, we're going to look at the investigation slideshow, but let me scroll down and hover on the symbols below it. So present is going to do the same thing as if I clicked investigation slideshow. I'm ready to teach this investigation. I'm going to walk through these slides. If I hover on the next one, it's create assignment. We're not going to do a deep dive into creating assignments today because that's in other summit sessions. And also we have PD courses on that, and it varies based on if you're just using TCI's portal or you're connecting with Canvas, Schoology, Google Classroom. If you have any specific questions about that, circle back to us in an email and I'll direct you on how to get to that information based on the system you're using. The next one over is edit preview though. And let's take a look at this, because you have the ability to fully customize, excuse me, our slide decks. If my internet doesn't get mad at me, you might have to take my word for it. Da, da, da. It's thinking about it. There we go. So you can always use our stock slide deck. My suggestion would be when you're teaching for the first time, maybe you do use the stock slide deck, and then you can make notes for yourself what modifications you need to make before you teach it again, or, are you shorter on time than you expected? But you can see here, you can fully change the verbiage, you can change the template, you can add a background image, add background audio, group slides, more customization than most people would ever want, actually. Now, if you do that, you will always have access to our stock slide deck. Any that you create will now live right here under my slideshows. And if you're wanting to help a partner in crime in your building or district that teaches the same grade level, you also have the option of sharing that customized slide deck with them. Now, a caveat about that: to share a customized slide deck, you need to open it up in present mode. Like, for example, if this were a customized one, I'm now in present mode, and then you're going to grab the URL at the top, and that's what you're going to send to your partner in crime. Now, they won't be able to edit that like they would the slide deck within their own license, if you will, but they will be able to utilize the one that you created and shared with them. So that's a nice feature. So I'm in the stock one now, obviously. The first slide I see has some additional timestamp information. So you see I've got some of those things that I can cut out if I'm short on time, or I've got things that I can do for extensions if I've got extra time, like designing a bridge. If all I've got time to do is collect and analyze data, 25 minutes. I can tack on another 15 to 20 if I want to add that extension, the bridge test, and the vocabulary alone. So lots of flexibility. So observing phenomenon, the students are going to start out by thinking of bridges that they have seen. Were they all made of similar or different materials? Bridges can be made from many different materials. Is there a bridge near your community? What material is the bridge made of? Watch the video and the lesson phenomenon. What questions do you have record them in your notes. Now you'll have these videos embedded. Most of these that are asking them to observe something at this early stage about the phenomena are going to be video only. There's no audio here. We're wanting them just to watch and think about it. And then by the end of the lesson, they'll be able to explain that phenomena. Now, one thing I love about the slide deck, you'll notice I can start typing right here. Remember, I said I am logged in, and one second, Cheryl, I see your question. I am logged in as a teacher, but if a student's logged in and you've shared the presentation slide deck with them, and they are saving things in their digital version of the journal, as I am doing right now, one, they would not see show answer key, but it's going to automatically report to you what they have responded, and you'll see it in your grade book. Cheryl is asking, will it save for them for the future? Cheryl, can you clarify? I'm guessing you mean about customized slide decks. If that's what you're asking about, yes, it will. And as a matter of fact, one nice feature is unless your district completely deletes and vaporizes you, removes like your login, your email address from our system. If you change from one program grade level and then a year after that, they put you back in that one, what you had created will still be there also. Caveat being, what's your tech department doing? Are they removing you entirely, or are they just changing you to a different program? But short answer to your question is yes, that's a great question. Well, we can't delete or vaporize Cheryl. Cheryl, I'm glad now to know you're the best. And David, thank you for making sure we all were aware of that. I love it. So you'll see that this simply just walks you through the entire lesson and investigation. You'll want to watch for things like up here at the top, the little teacher notes. Notice what color is that? It's orange. So that means if you're sharing the slide deck with students, they will not see that tab. They won't be able to click those notes. Those are things for you. Once again, notebook, type in it, whatever language that is, go on. And then anytime it's asking them to read, let me show you an example of that. Da, da, da. This one, we're doing a lot of the investigation before we do the reading because it just really depends on what the investigation and the content is. So in this one, we're doing all of that hands-on stuff, and now they're being asked to read section 1 for the first time. In that overview information in the planning box, it tells you where the reading is suggested to take place. So don't think that you had to know that just on your own. We give you that information. Now, if I click read, it's in the same tab. It did not open up 5 more tabs. I'm in the same tab. It does that for the students as well. By the way, Bert and Brian in the intro session mentioned that they're running a session every single session time today that's on some new features, the teacher pacing. So a feature that's coming to all of you for the fall is if you choose to share the slide deck with your students, so that instead of them just watching on the screen, as I'm assuming you're doing with me right now as I click through, if you push out the slide deck to them, you will be able to lock them into the exact slide you are on. So you don't have to worry about them advancing and giving away an aha moment or whatever it is, getting distracted. So I think that speaks to the fact that we are an ask not, have not company. So keep that feedback coming. I cannot tell you how many examples that I am sharing with you already today are a direct result of people like you in the trenches saying, we love this, but we wish you would. For example, another thing, and we've got sessions on this at Summit, so if you're not attending one, you can go back and watch the recording. You don't see it in here right now, but for the fall, we will have the ability for you, now listen carefully, a 2-step additional Lexile level AI process. So if you think great, awesome. If you're like, not a fan, that's cool. Nobody's forcing it on you. A district has to okay it, and then you have to okay it for your individual classroom. And then if you are kind of middle L and above, because obviously we can't lower 5 grade levels if you teach first grade, then you will, if enabled for your district and your class, change the Lexile level beyond what you've already had, which is that A on grade level and level B. So that's something exciting coming out this summer as well. Look at these tabs again, hover. If you have not been in this in a while, I want to make sure you know that you now have the option of slow and normal speed. You're welcome. Also, an automatic translator tool. We already had that authentic Spanish translation. Caveat about that, I'm always surprised when I'm reminded that a lot of teachers that have a strong Spanish need think that it's just the reading and the assessments that are in Spanish, not the presentations. Oh, all of it's in Spanish. The caveat is you just have to click that Spanish English toggle at the bottom of your purple left nav before you open it up. And I'll show you that in a moment. But another thing, I'll just see the vocabulary built right in to not distract from struggling or emerging readers. This little visual, this cute little girl with her umbrella, might not be the most exciting visual to demonstrate this on, but I want to make sure you and your students are aware. If you pull your cursor away and bring it back, there's an automatic magnifying tool, and that's where you all were supposed to ooh and ah. And I'm going to tell myself you did, but you're just muted, but I know you did it. Click X and you're right back where you needed to be. So again, we're not going to click through all of this, but that's how easy to use the presentation is for the investigation slideshow. And then as I mentioned, super simple science, say that 5 times fast, is if you either need to go back and revisit it, or maybe you just want to do something more quickly that's not just reading and thought-provoking note-taking. So super simple science has a video. It's saying, grab these materials, string in a basket, objects to drop on a web. You've got a video activity. You've got processing underneath it, questions, beautiful visuals. The students in this one are engineers that design a spider web using the string in the basket, and then they type their responses, or they could do it in the print version of the journal as well. So those are the options that you have for flexible lesson options dependent on the time constraints that you may be under. Let me do a check-in again. Haley, any questions or comments that I have missed so far?
No, you've been on top of it, but we do have about 10 minutes left.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So let me talk about something that I'm finding is important, and I love that it is, to my science partners in crime, and that is the assessment generator. So let me just show you very quickly on the purple left nav. If you go to assessments, what did Dawn say 10 times already? Start at the top and scroll to the bottom, because if you don't, you're going to miss some things in a moment. We give you a stock assessment. Hover. Oh, I can make a copy. Oh, I can see what it looks like to a student. Oh, I can assign it. Oh, I can print it. You can have any assessment or quiz you generate be online delivery or paper pencil, or you can have some students doing it online and other students doing it on paper, or you can create a new assessment. Now, you can title it whatever you want. Now, just know that whatever you title it, the students will see that title either in print or online. So you don't want to create 5 assessments and the second one be for gifted students and the third one be for my ESL students and the fourth one be for students who are struggling to read, because they will all see that. And I never thought I'd have to say that until I found out that I needed to say that. So now I've said it. So now I've got this additional navigation bar, and you'll notice that I can insert all these different question types, but scroll, Dawn said scroll, I can create questions. And coming this fall, this is being demonstrated in other sessions in Summit today, if you want help generating even more assessments for your content, you will have that option if AI has been enabled by your district and by you for your classroom. For purposes of this demonstration, let's stick to TCI's question bank only. When in doubt, scroll, because if I didn't, I would miss. I can pull by category. I can add additional questions from the notebook or the lesson review game. I can filter by DOK level. Does it have a stimulus or not? Let's say I want to create an assessment from lessons 2 and 3. I can pull from multiple lessons, and maybe I like all of these. I'm going to add those to the test. We'll just start with those for now. I'm going to click Add to Test and click OK. And then with the power of Spectrum Internet in 3 and 2 and 1, now I have this view. So I can drag and drop to reorder. I can click on a question, and if it's a TCI test bank question, I automatically have it in English and Spanish. I can change the verbiage. I can add to the distractors. I can limit the distractors. I can randomize. I can have two correct answer choices. If there's not a visual, I can add one. If there is one, I can change the size of it. I can change the point value. When you're done, simply click done. And now source, oh, it's me. And I can click that I and see exactly what the assessment would look like if a student were taking it on their device. Spanish, I know just enough Spanish to be dangerous. So let's go back to English and I'll scroll down and anything that is not open-ended would be automatically scored for you. And whether it's assessment or notebook journal, investigation prompts, you can give students comments, numerical scores, cool stamps, all sorts of stuff. If there's a drawing prompt involved, it's going to have that automatic drawing tool. And all of this is in HTML5. So what that means is platform neutral. You and your students, whether you are on a Chromebook or a MacBook or an iPad or a Samsung blow you up phone from 7 years ago, you and they have full functionality of everything that is on here. Now, two more quick things I want to show you before we go back to those end slides, and Haley's going to drop a couple things in for you then. Don't forget to check out what's under support on the purple left nav, because here we have some skills and toolkits. Language arts is my other area of certification, so I'm really big on these little gems right here. And there's a lot of writing at times in science, right? So never will an investigation say now use this, but it might say if your students are struggling with writing, consider using one of the many solution masters that you have in the writing skills toolkit. You can see other ones here like building scientific skills. I really love the CER graphic organizer and the CER planner. So you can see lots of great things there too. Current events toolkit, resources for families, assessment strategies, lots of great stuff. Pacing, there is a pacing sample calendar down here for K-5 science. So if you're using this for the first time, it might help you map out your year because it's not a lesson a day. A lesson, if you teach all parts of it, might take a week or more. So that will help you by glancing at that pacing calendar, have more of an idea of what that might look like. Now, very quickly, I'm also clicking on professional development. When in doubt, scroll because you cannot go wrong with navigating through Navigating Plan TCI 2.0. And in a few weeks, we'll have what's new fall 2026. Watch for that. But below that, I know some, if not all of you joining me right now, use Google Classroom or Schoology or Canvas. If you want to see how to connect Bring Science Alive with that, or what it would look like if you choose to implement one of those systems in the future, check out those courses. They're interactive. They're not sit and get boring. Can't say enough good stuff about them. More gems below that. But without further ado, let's go back over here for some final things before we send you off to the next thing. PD, again, I already shared it's at your own pace. You can restart them. Districts, if there are any district admins on here with us, if you assign the in-app professional development, it will actually even report to you when it's completed. So you can say, hey, everyone, I want you to complete foundations in, the assessment one by September 30th, for example. You would be able to see that completion. It generates professional development certificates for the teachers who go through the steps of answering the questions within. We do offer you support every step of the way. Professional development in a variety of formats. Talk to your account manager, talk to your customer consultant, reach out to us via feedback at the top right of your screen, the question mark, or Haley, if you will drop into the chat that info@teachtci.com email address for me too, that would be awesome. She's going to share some other links in chat for you too momentarily about where to get updates on what's coming down the pipe. That will show you a direct link to our website that talks about what's coming new for fall 2026. I gave you a couple of teasers already today about some of those AI features and the ability to lock the students in to where you are in the slide deck. Join our TCI Face group. We love so much when people collaborate, share best practices, ask questions that more than just 3 of you have. So we would love for you to connect with your peers that way as well. And if you're not already following us on Facebook or on Instagram, and if it's not for us, follow us for our llama mascot Scout, because he's like worldwide now, and he's a big hit. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you need to know who I'm talking about. Haley, thank you for dropping those in. Finally, time flies when you're having fun. So I would love for you to comment in chat using a cute emoji. If your mind is blown, information overload, oh my gosh, Dawn, the mouth of the South, this was too much. Or, hey, I'm feeling good. We are here to serve you. So this was tip of the iceberg today, but we want to make sure you are prepared for successful implementation from year one to year end and beyond of your implementation or review. So ask not, have not. You have my email address. Haley's shared the info at teachtci.com. Let us know how we can best meet your needs. Your implementation is as important to us as it is to you, I promise you. And finally, if you are interested in serving a greater role in your district by becoming a TCI coach, please check out this barcode. And if you have trouble grabbing it, send me an email. I'll get this information to you. But we have resources and professional development we provide to TCI coaches that you can then use to lead professional learning, connect with other educators within your district, grow your impact, and maybe it even spawns into you becoming a TCI trainer down the road later. We recently hired some more of those. Finally, win a gift card. We have 50 winners, $50 each, all summit long. Make sure you are sharing on social media the sessions you're joining, that it was meaningful for you. We want to reward you for doing that. 50 winners is a lot. I hope one of you is included in the winners list. And other than that, I just greatly appreciate your time, willingness to allow me to share more with you today. Thank you so much for all you do. I hope you enjoy the remainder of your summer, and I will send you off to your next session. Here's how to join the next session. Haley, if you can grab that bit.ly link for them too and drop it in case anyone has trouble with it. And just thank you so much, everyone. It was a pleasure connecting with you via chat, and look for me hopefully in your district in the future. Have a great rest of your day.